avalanche of news on the PGA Tour front. We've written about this on the website, thefriedegg.com. It's been discussed. This will be sort of after the initial wave follow up with our own analysis. I would say many things and subjects we've been talking about on this podcast for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Been told from straight from the source. Cannot do match play at Tour Championship. Absolute non-starter, not even on the table, not up for consideration. Cannot do that. Was told that multiple times over the last 5, 6 years, straight from people involved with that event. It seems like that's going to happen. So a lot of different exciting ideas being bandied about. I mean, say more than ideas.
For all the haters and losers of our structured talk for roughly 7 years here, that's become, I would say a lot of it's become the gospel of what everybody said wanted done. The match play is the chef's kiss of how many times we've been told that's ridiculous. That can't happen.
Like non-start. Absolutely. Don't even, not even up for discussion. Cannot happen. Hospitality suites cannot accommodate it. All that stuff. So that's
the thing about it is that the fans said they wanted it. So.
Fan forward era. They got in the room. They started spitballing with their fan forward data, market research, and now we have maybe some match play in the Tour Championship. This is it's more than half baked. I would say it's almost fully baked with details TBD. The output of the Future Competitions Committee was revealed on Tuesday at the Travelers Championship, and it was just a receiving line of voices. I mean, Rollout was the main show, but we had Tiger Woods, we had Brian Rollout, we had Joe Gorder, the board chairman. We had Jay Monahan doing a farewell, giving his wave from the podium. It was just everybody. It was quite the performance. USGA is kind of dealing in the afterglow of their national championship, and it was like, boom, we're moving on to big news.
One voice we didn't hear from.
Who's that?
Very important voice, or he believes his voice is very important. Patrick Cantlay abstained, so we didn't get to hear from him. He was the lone abstaining vote, the lone non-yes vote, because he abstained.
Really? So he didn't vote no. He voted like the congressmen who don't want to be on the record in case like this bill ends up being, world changing and all the voters are 100% behind his constituents. He just said abstain, which is kind of a no if you're asking me.
Well,
I'm being honest.
It's basically someone who doesn't want to say he voted no, but is saying he voted no. But then if this goes swimmingly and this is the greatest format change the tour's ever made, in 10 years he could say, I didn't vote no.
That's exactly right. Like I didn't vote against the bill that has now made my entire district rich. I just voted present or not, so he doesn't have to ride for it either way. I just, while we're on this subject, the 9-member committee, 6-player reps were Cantlay, who you're saying is the only person who voted not yes, Maverick McNeely, Keith Mitchell, Adam Scott, Camilo Villegas, and Tiger Woods, and then the 3 strategic business advisors and Joe Gorder, John Henry, and Theo Epstein. Those were the 9-member committee of the FCC. There are a bunch of other voices involved in that FCC, but those I believe are the voting members.
I have to think PC with his deep understanding of debt and just private equity deals galore. He just wasn't impressed with the information that he had. Needed more.
Or maybe he's just an absolute killjoy turd in the punch bowl. Wants to always be. I think he's probably thoughtful about a lot of issues, but also likes to be a pain in the ass. Anyways, I tell you what, he's sliding further and further toward irrelevance, quite frankly. It's just interesting with the team event in September that, he's been such a factor on. But we don't need to get into Cantlay minute, but he has become totally almost irrelevant.
Honestly, I was thinking about it yesterday when I saw the Sean Zock report that he abstained.
Yeah.
It's like, is he abstaining because he knows he's on the expressway to track 2?
He's a challenger, not a champion.
What would you prefer to be, a challenger or a champion?
I mean, probably a champion. Seems like it's more lucrative in this instance. But are you saying just generally in life, a challenger or a champion?
I feel like I already see the PGA Tour commercial. Are you a challenger or a champion?
How long do you think those last? I'll get into the loose nuts and bolts here in a minute. How long do you think the monikers Championship Series and Challenge? Championship is track 1. Challenger Series is track 2. Until that's what they were called until yesterday with the new.
I think it depends. The ball is really in Charles Schwab's court.
Why? You think it's infringing upon the Champions Tour?
I'm a Charles Schwab challenger, and I don't, I'm offended that places me in track 2. So the Charles Schwab Challenge, can the Charles Schwab Challenge actually exist in the Championship Series?
Doesn't
when
seem
it's
like
a challenge.
Seems impossible. Doesn't seem like it.
Seems like a challenger event.
I mean, there's a whole host of questions. Like, is the Canadian Open an open if it goes into the Championship Series? No. Is it, if it's in the Challenger Series and Corey Connors, Canadian, is a Championship Series player, can he not play his National Open? Doesn't seem like it. A lot of questions we'll get to here.
There's a lot of they're saying this is nothing. These small little I'm struggling for the eligibility things.
Yeah.
But I would say with anything like this, the devil is in the details. And I think there are a lot of tricky details to navigate. But we should get into the nuts and bolts before
nuts and bolts. All right. So as we've talked, 2 tracks. Track 1 is the Championship Series, which I just keep calling the Champions Tour. I just keep calling it that Championship Series. I mean, I'm sorry. It just is what it is. The Champions Tour Series. I
was doing the write-up that we did right after the news broke.
Yeah.
I kept typing Champions Tour and I kept having to check. I'm like, wait. Oh, this is the Championship Series. It just feels like copyright. Peach, how are you feeling about this copyright infringement here?
Not good. I got to be honest. People were making jokes yesterday that they're just going to use the Champions Tour flags. They're just going to write ship on them and Championship Tour. There's a lot of chatter about the big tours. Not a lot of chatter about the Champions Tour, and now they're co-opting the name. So I don't feel great. Personally, I think it's
all
bad.
Right. For purposes of this podcast, it's just the Champions Tour now. The senior circuit doesn't exist. It's just the Championship Series is the Champions Tour. PJ looks.
The good news for PJ, that means Champions Tour minute has been expanded.
Yeah, that's true. I got a lot of new material now.
The Dick Open is this week, right?
The Dick Open is this week.
All right.
Blocky's in tow. I've already got some blocky tails, but we can do that on Friday.
Oh my God. So the Championship Series is 23 to 24 events, which includes the majors, the Players Championship, and the international team events. Have a question about that? Like, is this consensual? Like, is this the Ryder Cup? Did they consent to be like, all right, I'm in the like, what does that mean? What are you getting out of like the Ryder Cup?
Champion player makes the Presidents Cup team. The Presidents Cup teams, the international teams absolutely dipping into the challenger field. Is the challenger player allowed to come up? Is the question I have for the Presidents Cup.
But like, are you getting points or to be relegated, retained, to promotion? Like, how is that? Oh, I went 2-1-1 at the P Cup. Am I now getting Championship Series? What is this? Why are we just throwing that in the Championship Series? I don't understand that. So it's a lot of events. It's a lot of events. We're talking playoffs and maybe like 15 to 16 quote unquote regular tour events. They will have 120 players in the field. 130 players are eligible or exempt, I should say. Who and who makes up that 130 is will become a great source of debate and devil in the details, as you noted early on. It is going to be, I assume, it's going to be the top 90 of the preceding year in this championship series. However that's calculated. FedEx Cup points seems like will be a possible metric. Then you're going to get 20 promoted up from the Challenger Series, which is track 2. So that gets us to 110. 90 stay, 20 promoted. Then you're at 110. You have 20 more spots for eligibility or fully exempt status. You're going to get some DP World Tour graduates.
It has to be 5, maybe. Maybe you do. Maybe that expands to 15, and 5 go to the championship circuit. God, Champions Tour.
Maybe a medical or 2 carve out if you're at the very top of your game, right? Or you're at the top of the tour and you get hurt. There's this last chance U, as I'm going to call it, series of fall events, maybe international events where you can play your way into the championship
Can
series.
I raise my hand here?
Yeah.
Doesn't this diminish the whole relegation thing? Like, we're gonna have this moment on their point is like the last event of the year. It's gonna be, hey, who gets to go to the playoffs? Which I've heard floated as 32 players get to go to the playoffs. Who gets relegated? People are gonna lose their cards. We're gonna have these moments where Todd gets rolled out, and he's gonna be rolled out to talk to somebody in tears about losing their card, and then it's gonna be like 2 months later. Well, last chance, you got this guy back. And it's going to be like that moment actually didn't happen.
Yeah, I get your point. I get it. Like you're relegated to last chance you, essentially, is what you're not relegated to a season on the Challenger Series. So we're talking 20, there's 20 spots that are some sort of stew that they're going to come to. Medical, Euro, PGA Tour U, last chance U, like a combination. So that'll get us to 130 for Championship Series.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
What do you think they should do with PGA Tour U?
I think they should fast track at least the top guy, maybe 2 or 3. And we're talking about guys that will frequently maybe come in whenever, May. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And give them that summer and figure out some sort of metric. What do you think they should? I mean, now you're going to get agents and mules just lose their shit down in the Challenger Series.
I think this is tricky. In the case of a Jackson Coyven, I think this is a slam dunk. Right. Where you have to get him up as quickly as possible. And this is the problem, is that I think it should be completely subjective, but it can't be completely subjective is the issue. So like at Jackson Coyven, where he's done everything, Preston Stout, where he's done all this stuff, Jackson Coyven in particular, where he's finished top 5 and, he finished top 10 in three straight events on the PGA Tour last fall. No brainer putting him up right away. But then you have hey, like Michael Thorbjornsen would have been a PGA Tour U guy. David Ford would have been a PGA Tour U guy. And I have a hard time saying, hey, this person gets to go up, but let's look at like the standings right now. But, Max Grazerman, we'll just go to 91. Or 94. Taylor Pendrith is 94 right now. Mm-hmm. Does Pendy not get a go? And somebody that hasn't cracked an egg on the PGA Tour yet gets to go. It's tricky. It's hard. This is what I'm talking about with the technicalities, the little details.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this, honestly. I had a 5-hour drive home from Long Island yesterday. And It is super fascinating, I think, for us to discuss, consider, think about, and not to come across as a nihilist, but it's very peripheral to the actual. Does the PGA Tour live, die, succeed, fail? Is this successful? I think it's important if you're a stakeholder, if you're a player, if you're an agent, if you're whoever, us, we think this is very interesting and critical. But it's also like, it is not critical to the PGA Tour success. Arguing about the last 20 guys and how they cook it up.
That's true.
Is that harsh?
Great.
Maybe.
It's actually a great point.
And nobody's ever going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy. We've learned that. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Often when you're sorting PGA Tour eligibility, it doesn't matter how you do it. Okay, so that's the championship. So 72 hole stroke play with cut to top 65 and ties. So 120 players with
imagine that.
cuts.
All the people that were saying that no cut events, cuts don't matter. We're back here. Cuts every event.
Purses are 20 million.
Cuts really don't matter. You got to have those guys around on the weekend.
I think that's sort of also avoiding the sort of the WGC stink, the WGC malaise. I think we saw that a little bit at a few of these no cut, whatever they're called, designated elevated signature. So that just to clear something up, championships and challenger, I have no idea. We've renamed elevated events 3 times in like 4 years. So who knows what these will be called. Yeah, cuts, 72 hole stroke play, top 65 get through the weekend. Purses are 20 million at least. So I think prior reporting from maybe Josh Carpenter and others said, they're looking for 30 million title sponsor. Of course, that 30 million doesn't all go into the purse, but purses are at least 20 million. Is that the false economy Rory speaks of? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see where we go. But Brian Rolap in his press conference was like, look, we wouldn't be setting these money parameters if we didn't think we were comfortable, if we didn't feel comfortable about getting it out there in the marketplace, either from title sponsors or just operating with those kind of purses. 10 of 15 are done for 2028. We'll learn the full schedule, it sounds like, in, call it February, March of next year. We'll learn before the players, we'll learn the whole deal.